Greetings YouTube. While the Diablo community is still reeling from the Diablo Immortal announcement at Blizzcon this year, we actually have some potential information regarding an alleged Diablo 4 announcement that was supposed to take place at BlizzCon. And even though Blizzard themselves don't normally comment on rumours, we'll also see what they've got to say about this as well. I'd like to start by giving a shout out to all of my YouTube members, patrons and other supporters, and if you want to be updated with further Diablo news going forward, please remember to be subscribed to my YouTube channel. Obviously, a big talking point of BlizzCon this year was the Diablo Immortal announcement, and a lot of fans are very angry about this, but it does seem that Diablo Immortal was not at least originally intended to be the big news coming out of BlizzCon. There was also, according to this leak we're going to look at, supposed to be a little tease of something much greater to come. So this news is coming to us from Kotaku.com. I'm going to leave a link to their article in the video description. But what they're claiming is that they have two sources who are familiar with Blizzard's plans. I'm not sure exactly what that means, but it must mean something important, or sure they wouldn't have made this article. Two sources who are claiming that Blizzard were definitely going to be announcing Diablo Immortal at BlizzCon, but that wasn't going to be the only thing. And that after that announcement, the original intention was to then go ahead and tease a D4 development. In other words, they were going to show a video where the co-founder of Blizzard, Alan Ardham, was then going to proceed to tell the audience that yes, they were indeed working on Diablo 4, but they didn't have anything else to show about it at that point. So it was just a tease, and perhaps that then could have overshadowed the Diablo Immortal announcement, and it wouldn't have received as much reaction as perhaps it did. Now, here's where things get really interesting. According to Kotaku's source, Blizzard actually decided to pull this announcement, this tease of Diablo 4, literally a couple of weeks before BlizzCon itself. And the reason for that is that Diablo 4 has changed so much over its development for the past 4 years that they literally do not know whether it's going to change again in the near future. And this is perhaps some disconcerting news for those of us that have been looking forward to Diablo 4. It sounds like it's having somewhat of a disruptive development cycle here, and what this means for the future of the game, we really don't know yet. We've already had the hints and whatnot that the Diablo franchise itself is not a favourite amongst Activision Blizzard from a corporate point of view, because Diablo is such built around the whole concept of hunting down loot. They can't really monetize it in the way that they've been monetizing their more recent releases, such as Hearthstone and Overwatch, with loot boxes and whatnot. And we already saw how the second expansion for Diablo 3, the King of the North expansion, which was in development shortly after Reaper of Souls was released, actually got cancelled, and it's speculated that that's because it wasn't really going to be a valid business model for Activision Blizzard. Now, that said, we did get all the free content that they developed up until that point for the King of the North expansion in Diablo 3, but it does show, you know, how they're thinking about the Diablo franchise going forward. The fact that the Diablo game itself, the nature of Diablo, the type of game it is, does seem antithetical to the business model that they want to adopt with their new games. So how are they going to do that? We don't know, but it is very possible that this is the reason why Diablo 4 is having this troublesome development right now. They're going to try and build it from the ground up so that yes, they can continue to monetize the game and take money from us even when we've purchased the game, but by doing so in a way that isn't really going to upset the Diablo franchise. It is all about collecting loot at the end of the day, and if you're just going to buy loot, it's not going to work. We saw that with the real money auction house in Diablo 3. So I think that's the reason why Diablo 4 is, you know, struggling, if indeed it is struggling, based on this leak, which cannot be confirmed, but Kotaku do claim that it is a valid source. So that's the leak itself. Let's see now what Blizzard have to say about this. Interestingly, Blizzard never comment on internet rumours. They just don't do it. They ignore it completely. And yet, in this case, they have. I think Diablo, they understand, is a very, very precious franchise, and they're really trying to tread carefully here with the control of information flow. So this actually comes now from an IGN article. I will link that also in the description. And Blizzard spoke to IGN and told them, and I'll quote, "First off, we want to mention that we definitely hear our community. We generally don't comment on rumours or speculation, but we can say that we didn't pull any announcements from BlizzCon this year or have plans for other announcements." Then they continue to toe the party line about working on multiple projects in the Diablo universe. So Blizzard themselves are denying this, But Jason Schreier, who originally was the one that made the article on Kotaku, is still defending his sources, and he says it's the timing that's in dispute. He states, "We had originally reported that it was planned for BlizzCon, but it's possible that those plans were discussed and never solidified. Either way, the video never happened. We can confirm that Diablo 4 is indeed in development." So he's defending his sources, and because of the fact that he's doing so, he's saying that yes, Diablo 4 is definitely in development, but it was perhaps the timing of the announcement that was never actually confirmed. So a bit of interesting information there. But I would be very interested in hearing what you guys make of all this. I already know a lot of fans have just gone off the entire Diablo franchise altogether at the moment because of the sour feelings that are still very ripe after the Diablo Immortal announcement. But if we can just try and push that side a little bit for now, do you think this is pointing towards bad times ahead for the Diablo 4 game that's supposed to be in development now? Or do you think the future's looking bright for the Diablo franchise? I almost asked that question with a little bit of trepidation there, but there we go. Thanks ever so much for stopping by today, folks. I hope you've enjoyed watching as we've discussed some of this information that's coming out regarding the Diablo 4 development, and I'll make sure to stay on top of this, so if we get any further news in future, I'll be posting it right here. Please be subscribed if you want to be on the lookout for that. Thanks for stopping by today, and I'll see you next time.